to another DIY project video. In today's video we're going to be building a display turntable. When an object is placed upon the table and the turntable is turned on, it provides a videographer with a stunning 360 view of the object in question. If you're a photographer or a video creator, you may be familiar with this device, and like me, you probably want it for your creations. The only cost for 360 shots is basically the cost. If you go on Amazon and look through the selection, you'll find that every quality turntable is extremely expensive, a turn down for aspiring video creators who want to improve their content quality. No matter, today we aim to fix that problem with a DIY dirt cheap turntable. The first thing you're going to need is a lid. You can use any lid that you like, of any size, but I'm going to be using a blue lid from a tin of cookies. It's sturdy and smooth, has good weight, and is quite durable, making it a perfect candidate. Once you have your lid of choice, the next thing you're going to need is a can of spray primer. I'm using some black paint and primer to give my lid a smooth and stylish color. You could use any color primer that you want, but I'm going to be using primer since I don't like the color of my lid, and all the words on it are very distracting. But if you don't have this problem with your lid, go ahead and skip this step. Once your primer has been shaken around for a good 2 minutes or so, start spraying the lid and make sure to keep the can about a foot or so away from the lid, just to give the whole surface an even coverage. Make sure to get all of the lid, including the sides. Also make sure you do this outside so the fumes from the spray paint get blown away. You do not want to breathe those in. You can use gloves to hold the lid while you spray, or put a surface under where you're spraying as to not get spray paint everywhere. After you've done that, you can let the lid rest for a while, and touch the lid now or then to check how dry it is. When the lid isn't sticky when touched, you know that it's dried. You can see our lid is dried, so we can go ahead and move on to our next material. Now onto the part that makes the lid spin, the fidget spinner. This one is beat up, used for many years, missing a bearing. It got a bit messed up in some hot glue accidents, and overall it just doesn't function anymore. You can still see it has a cap for the middle bearing that spins well. You're going to need at least one cap to build this the way we did. It also needs to have at least one good bearing that spins well. You can see that these 2 out of the 3 bearings that we have just don't work very well anymore and are basically unusable. We won't be needing these, but we will need the fidget spinner body and the working bearing. If you don't have a fidget spinner, you could use a skateboard bearing or buy cheap bearings online. You could also find bearing alternatives, but they may not spin long enough for a good 360 shot. You can see it's still functioning well and spins smoothly. Now that we've done that, go ahead and flip your lid over. We'll be finding the center of the lid using a handy trick so we know where to stick our spinner. Using a ruler and an expo marker or dry erase marker that can be wiped off, go ahead and make a line that extends from one side of the lid to the other. Doesn't matter where the line is on the circle, just make sure that the line is straight and that you measure the line correctly. My lines are going to be around 6 inches in length, but length can change depending on the lid size. Once you've done that, find the center of the line using a ruler and then mark it. You can see from our measuring here that this is exactly 6 inches and we've marked the middle of it at exactly 3 inches. Once that's done, go ahead and do that 2 more times. It doesn't matter where these lines are on the circle, just have to make sure that they're the exact same length. After that, find the centers of each of those and then make lines vertical to those centers. Do that 2 more times with the other lines, and that will easily find you the middle point of the lid. Now that we have our middle point marked, we're going to glue the cap of the fidget spinner to the lid. Hot glue dries extremely quick, so we don't have to wait long after the application. But if you use a different glue, then it'll be best to let the cap dry for just a little bit. Take your hot glue gun or glue of choice and place a nice ball of it onto the middle point. Press the bearing cap onto it and hold it in place for a little bit. Depending on what glue you use, you can let go after a few seconds. With the cap now attached, the project is basically done. Just attach the bearing onto the cap and push the fidget spinner body onto the bearing. After that, flip the turntable around and spin the lid. Your new upcycled turntable has been finished. With that done, you can take awesome shots with ease, and onto the showcase.